Von Allen Sports.
I'm really depressed, like the rest of you. Our team looks terrible. They look bad. They look like they're out of it. Tomorrow, we're never going to hear the end of it on First Take and all that crap. Okay, guys, no, I'm kidding. Everybody is freaking out. Why? I don't understand it. Why are you freaking out? We knew that Buffalo was going to be a difficult game. We knew it. All week long, they were talking about that. It wasn't the usual lip service from Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, and can do it. We just got to get it in rhythm and get guys down the field. But listen, Buffalo has a good defense, and you know what? At the end of the year, when it's a solid win for the Patriots. But because it's Buffalo right now, nobody cares. And everyone's thinking that it should have been easy. No, it's a division game in Buffalo. Listen, these guys were ready. They were excited. You saw it. Their fan base was ready. Now I want you to think about something. The Buffalo Bills fans today really thought they had a shot. They all went home today. Either one, the whole offense was off. Everybody was off. Generally, when you see a team that's off, if their offense is not clicking like you're used to, more times than not, it's not that your team sucks. It's that the team they're playing is making that happen. At least by the Kansas City Chiefs. They're 4-0 compared to last year and that bad, horrible start. And actually, the first half of the season was a horrible start, to be honest. Everybody on the world and all boo-hoo. I mean, oh man, our team looked terrible, and the running back they're bad, and the offensive line sucks, and Tom had his worst game, and it's like his next to worst game ever, or whatever. And it's just really, guys. If this was 2004 Tom Brady, you wouldn't even give a crap because it's his age. Now you're letting everybody else get in your head. You're letting everybody else talk about the decline, the cliff. And you're letting it get in your head by the way you think now. So anytime you see something and Tom have a bad day, it seems like it's, oh my God, it's who needs Patriots haters when we've got Patriots fans acting like this? Now, I don't know if you saw Tom's post-game interview. He wasn't happy. He wasn't happy with himself. And you know what happens after that? You know what comes next? So, guys, this was a road game, a division road game against a legit team. This was not the Dolphins. This was not the Jets. This is a legit team. Buffalo's for real. Now, they lost Josh Allen. But honestly, guys, I'm not sure Josh Allen is and much longer. Okay, they lasted much longer. So, come on. The biggest one I want to bring up is the Eagles Super Bowl. He threw for 505 and they still couldn't. Also, people think too simplistically about how a game goes. And with the end score, they think that, okay, so one thing here, one thing there is changed. Then it would have equaled that amount. But you can't think like that. So what I mean is, like, someone sees the score, let's say 16-10. Wow, if we hadn't kicked two field goals, if we hadn't kicked a field goal, if they hadn't had the blocked punt, we would have lost. You can't think like that because the score changes during the game, changes the thinking. It changes the strategy. So if that blocked punt never happens and we're now losing into the third and fourth quarter, the play calls change. Everything changes. You take different risks. You take more risk. You go downfield. You play less conservative. Things change. Everything changes. So you cannot think that way. You cannot think in the confines of one simple thing. That's why Max Kellerman kills me. I just want to strangle him when he says stupid things like that. Oh, this and that. One thing happened there. If that would have happened, then the Patriots would have lost or whatever. No, dude. Every decision that is made during a game is based off of what just happened. So a team kicks a field goal or they score a touchdown. You, as a team, has to adjust to that, and you will adjust your play calling based on the amount of points that you need. That's just how it works. And this simplistic way of thinking that one or two things really, the Rams and the Buccaneers, and they had two high-scoring games, and one of those teams walked away with a loss, and it was the Rams, guys. The Rams actually lost to the Buccaneers in a high-scoring game. Who would have thought? So the whole team wasn't doing its job. So it didn't matter what the offense did. All right? I know I'm not coming across that way. I am very happy. All right? I saw a team that can do anything it needs to do. The offense is struggling because of a great Buffalo defense. So the special teams comes in and blocks a punt, okay? Or the defense comes through and gets a bunch of picks. That's what I saw. I saw one side picking up the other when the other was struggling and having a problem. So, yes, guys, I know they're going to tear Tom up this week, okay? Just get ready for it. End up raising the Lombardi Trophy, okay? This team is still better than the team last year. And this doesn't change anything. I think this says more about Buffalo, and it's a compliment to Buffalo, than it is a problem with New England. I don't think it's a problem at all. You know, I tell you who should be worried, and that is the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, I'll tell you the deal. I have a formula. I made my first picks this week. My formula said that Kansas City would win. They would beat the Detroit Lions. But I needed an upset special. I needed one upset where I override the system and say, okay, this is my big upset game. So I chose the Lions to defeat the Chiefs. So I went away from the formula that I wrote, and I ignored it. Well, guess what? Detroit almost pulled it off. I felt that Matt Patricia had to have gotten some advice, something from Bill Belichick on how to at least suppress or frustrate Patrick Mahomes. So I knew Matt Patricia was probably going to do that, and I know that the Chiefs' defense is pretty bad, and we saw that again. So it's just that the Lions cannot finish a game, and that's what separates good teams from bad teams, is that the Lions could not finish it. In order to win, they would have had to have a big lead. If I was a Chiefs fan, I would be more worried about that than I would be a Patriots fan being worried about it, because the Patriots are a much better all-around team. I don't care what anyone says, and I would be more comfortable with the Patriots team right now, the exact team it is today, than I would be with the Chiefs team, and that is, I guess most people would say, the biggest rival in the AFC, the biggest threat in the AFC. So that's me underestimating the Bills' defense. Actually, that was the formula, underestimating the Bills' defense. But listen, offense. Patriots 6th. The Bills 8th. Okay? Defense. Patriots 1st. Defense for the Bills 5th. Wow. Okay, so there you go. Passing. Here's where it gets changed, but passing, the Patriots are 2nd, or were 2nd. The Bills were 19th. Now, that sounds lopsided, right? But if you go down to rushing, it does the exact opposite. So, in rushing, the Patriots are 20th, and the Bills are 5th. Guys, this was a good matchup. This was not some scrub Buffalo Bills. It's not the same Bills. And everybody was disrespecting them, and, you know, hey, I get it, okay? Tom owns them, but it's premature, man. It's premature to write off Buffalo and think that they're just a one-hit wonder and they just had an easy schedule, and that's why, you know, I hate that easy schedule crap. I can't stand it. Let me see what you guys are talking about. Right, Mr. Automotive. The Bills played good, but the results are the same, and they took a capital L as usual. Exactly. And who got the win? Who's 4-0? They didn't blow out Buffalo. The world is falling apart. It's just stupid. Just get out of here with that crap. Just go away. I mean, if you think that stuff, then I don't know. Maybe you don't. You know, I don't know. I'm not going to say that, but just stop it. And yeah, okay. You guys are talking about the Detroit game, the Chiefs game. Listen, at the end, they had a pick on Patrick Mahomes. They had it, and they dropped it, and that's what bad teams do. They lose games like that, and good teams win those games. And I knew the moment the Chiefs had the ball at the end, I was like, this is over. It's done. The Chiefs have got it, because that's what happens. So Mark Hampton, yes, he says, remember, the offense is still pretty banged up, and Julian still has rib injury. Half the O-line is out, and Gordon was hurt going into this game. That's absolutely true. All very good points, Mark. Out there on the field, they don't know who's who, and that helps. And Michelle is out there by himself because, the run blocking is not. And we know why. It's just. And then you met a badass defense, a badass Buffalo Bills defense. It's just what happens. Jeff, the Orthodox, they need to let Sony catch out of the backfield. Sure, James Watt's also doing that pretty damn well too. So, Mr. Automotive. People around the league better start giving the Patriots defense some respect. They only allowed 1 touchdown since last year. And with this defense, if Tom Brady has an off game, he's still going to win. That's exactly right. And think about it. The Patriots are the type of team where even if Tom Brady has a bad game, they still can win it. And there were years where you couldn't say that. There were years it was like, if Tom is not on, if he's even a little bit off, or if the offense overall is off, they're screwed. Remember those days, guys? Remember the secondary couldn't stop a nosebleed? Remember 2011? And Tom carried that team all the way to the Super Bowl on his back, and that was an atrocious secondary. Remember those years? Come on. Yes, Bruins Rule 11. I am very hyped for Ben Watson. He's going to be a good red zone guy. Now, my goodness. Yeah, you know what, man? They're not even field goals. They're extra points that he's missing. Extra freaking. You're not thinking about every detail during the kick. If you take your eye off of anything or the mind off of anything, that you will shank it. It doesn't matter how close you are. So it doesn't matter if it's an extra point or if it's a 50-yarder. If you take your mind off of it for a second, you'll miss. And that goes from lining up correctly. That goes from taking off from your position, the timing of the snap. And then in Steven's case, he keeps missing them, so it's in his head. So right when he's about to kick the ball, all those things come into his brain at once, and he overcompensates somewhere. He tries too hard in one aspect or the other, or even just in his head, he tries to overcompensate something, and he shanks it, okay? And that is why he can make a 45-yarder, but he can't make an extra point, because it's in his head. It's all mental. Physically, of course, an extra point is no problem for him. But this is a mental thing, and he needs to work on it. And I think what might fix it is fear. Bring in another kicker. Bring in a kicker just to be around, just to kind of be Mr. Reliable, guys, but that was years ago. Now, I know on the stat sheet you can say, look, he's this kind of kicker, he's a great kicker on the stat sheet, but it's about when you kick and the timing of the kick, when it happens, and what are the results of your miss. Then I do know that this upon the snap's got to be right. If the snap is too high, then that extra microsecond that it takes to come all the way down, instead of from right here to right here, you're up here and down here. That millisecond, that really small part matters, because the kicker has already taken off. So once he sees the snap, he's gone, right? So any kind of hesitation, any kind of change, even a little bit, can mess up the flow of the kick. Or if he doesn't put it down right, or if Steven doesn't trust him. Okay, so if Steven doesn't trust him, if there's some kind of lack of confidence in him, that can actually mess Steven up. So there's a lot of factors. That was a good question. There's a lot of factors go into it, but at the end of the day, Steven is a professional NFL kicker. Steven is supposed to make those even and compensate for those any kind of missteps in a snap or in a hold. That's the difference between why I am not a kicker in the NFL and why he is a kicker in the NFL. So it's his job to make up for those things, even though they're happening. And he also makes $3 million a year. So for $3 million a year, he needs to get his crap together, basically. So, yeah, Jeff Lemos says, I purposely watched anomalies, but they were very few. And then they didn't even bother Steven. Steven just kicked them anyway. It was fine. So I think this is all about Steven's head, to be honest with you. Jeff says, that almost looks like Steven's plant foot is either too far in front alongside the ball or too far back. That's why he's shanking it. Your plant foot can change everything. It can change the distance on the ball. It can change the power. It can change the angle. Everything. Everything about that plant foot. If it's next to the ball or if it's too far in front. If you're too far in front of the ball, if you plant past the ball, the ball is going to be inside you. And then it's like hitting a tennis ball when the ball comes at your body and you lose control. But then if you plant too far back, you're extending out. So you're like reaching for the ball. And when you're reaching, you're just trying to get to it, and then your accuracy goes out the window. So to be an accurate kicker, to get the accuracy right, you want your plant foot exactly where you're comfortable. So every kicker has his plant foot in a certain spot near the ball based on how tall they are or what their comfort zone is. So if he's planting his foot incorrectly in different spots, and also the plant foot matters on different surfaces. So that could also change things. Indoor, honestly, guys, I find it harder to kick indoor than I find it's easier to kick outdoor on natural grass than it is to kick on any kind of artificial or brought in grass that just doesn't have the same depth to it. So I prefer kicking. Remember, these guys are not kicking off tees. They're kicking from the ground. So the ball is on the ground, and they've got to get up under it and kick it correctly. So, J.C. Jackson, that's right. My man, 8 minutes. I think that's long enough for me to vent. But I'm not venting about the Patriots. I'm venting about Patriots fans. And perhaps I'll get back on this week. But remember, my show is Friday, always Friday at 5:15 p.m. But get there a little early. Gives people time to get on. And most of all, I just want to say, Chris Sims, you're a douchebag. And I'm still challenging you, even though you're never going to accept my challenge. And I keep seeing your face all over the TV because your last name is Sims. And so I just want to get that out there. I always make sure to give you a shout out, Chris, on all of my postings. Okay? Talk to you guys later. Bye.
Von Allen Sports.